I would like to invite our first speaker to the stage, Nancy MacIntyre from Game Taco. Please give a warm welcome to Nancy.
I'm really surprised to see so many people wanted to come and hear about data this morning, so welcome. So, first of all, can you guys put my presentation up? Okay, let's start with that. I'm Nancy MacIntyre. I am the CEO of Game Taco for like a week, so don't hold me to it or anything. I've actually been working at Game Taco for about a year and a half. I came here after running a kids mobile game business for the past 10 years, and then before that I was working in video games at LucasArts and at Atari. And so getting to skill games is sort of like a radical evolution, because I sort of say I went from working in kids games, family games, to working in Vice, so it's quite a transition. Today I'm going to talk about the audience, and I can kind of relate to this because my own personal evolution in games went from hardcore games to more and more casual games and games across all platforms, and that's really what the consumer is doing too. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about that. If I can make the clicker work. Am I not? Is it going now?
This is why I don't do lengthy introductions. The first one always works.
And meanwhile, my time is counting down, and you're missing all these amazing nuggets that I would be making. Anyway, just a little bit about Game Taco. We are actually the operator of two different skill gaming businesses. The first is our direct-to-consumer business, WorldWinner, which was purchased from Sony about 2 years ago. And WorldWinner is really the premier skill gaming platform. We call it sort of the Netflix of gaming, and we've got about 30 games across a wide variety of genres. And then we're in business with FanDuel, who is the leading sports betting and sports gambling entertainment company in the world. And we operate a product called FanDuel Face Off with them. On any given month, we operate around 9 million paid tournaments and many, many free tournaments as well. We do around 25 million a month in entry fees from people playing our various games. And we've priced out today almost $2 billion to people that have played our games. And you know, what's interesting is skill gaming is a category that's not widely known, yet 34 million people have played WorldWinner. So it's quite a big and interesting category. Okay, up. So I want to show you just a little bit about our players, because it sort of sets the stage for the diverse audience. And
my name is Crystal. My player's name is Queen City 04, and I'm playing from San Diego, California.
Player name's Aaliyah Pett, and I live in Brentwood.
My player name is Astute Northern Android. I currently live in Toronto.
My player name is I Love Krishna, and I am from India.
My player name is Storm King 9, and I live in Ringgold, Georgia.
Okay.
Coming to you from my laundry room.
Yeah, so, I mean, you could see a really wide variety of the kinds of people playing our games. And here's a little bit about skill gaming in general.
Players, put your pinky rings up to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do? 24-karat magic in the air. Head to toe so clear. Look out. Pop, pop, it's showtime. color red, the blue. Woo, shit.
So just a little bit about the market before we get into the players and their motivations. So what's interesting here is, I mean, everybody here is probably aware that the mobile game market is over $100 billion and growing. What's less known is what makes up the mobile gaming market. And, you know, about 50% of the total revenues come from three major categories. The first is casual games, the second is sports games, and the third are casino games. And they are the three genres that really drive the whole skill gaming market as well. So when we look at this holistically as a business and say, wow, 100 billion plus category, and then the kinds of games that skill gamers are playing, it really gives us a sense for what will happen once the skill gaming market gets to scale because of the content path. So what's interesting is when we look at the mobile game market as a whole, almost 50% of mobile game players say they're interested in playing games for money. You know, there's a relatively small number of people that are actually playing them in the realm of all the game players out there. But when you ask them, are you interested in playing for money? Almost half of them say yes, which again, when you combine that with the genre data, you say, okay, big, interesting category that's largely untapped. And how big is the market? The skill game market today is around 13%. It's targeted to go somewhere around 15 to 17% by the time we get to 2025. So it's growing. It's largely dominated by the US and India today, and some new markets are beginning to open up as well. Part of that is that skill games, any game can't be a skill game. What really defines being a skill game is that it requires physical or mental skill versus luck. So it's the difference between playing chess and playing roulette, where chess takes strategy and knowledge, whereas roulette takes putting your number and spinning and hoping for the best. So there's a legal definition as well as a mathematical definition about what makes a skill game. Secondarily, it's played in a competition against other people. It can be head-to-head or it can be multiplayer. And you know, skill game tournaments are run just 2 people all the way up to thousands of people playing games at any one time. And it's played for real money or for prizes. And so when you think about the type of games, the type of people, and the type of events that are possible, it really opens up quite a wide and diverse audience. I'm going to skip this a little bit because it's an eye chart, but let's talk about the customer demographic. So about 1/3 of the players that play skill games in the US are over 45. A much smaller percent are young people under 30. The biggest growth area is really people right now over the age of 45, and about 55% of them are women. When skill gaming first came about 20 plus years ago, it was really about casual games for soccer moms. And now, 20 years later, those soccer moms are soccer grandmoms, and the men in their life are playing. And now, with the advent of esports, you're seeing more and more younger people come into the category as well. So if you look at the general games market, where more than 50% of users are, you know, under the age of 35, this category is way more diverse than that, which is sort of interesting. This is a little bit of an eye chart, but just some general points that are sort of interesting. One is that, like all gamers, all skill gamers are not alike. There's quite a lot of difference between your attitudes based on your age or your gender or even your player profile. So men tend to understand skill games. They like the competition. They're used to betting on sports. It's like completely logical that they would want to bet on games. And so they tend to really gravitate towards skill games because they understand how they work. But there's just fewer men playing than women at this point. Then when we think about older people, they tend to say it's less about the competition and it's more about the games being social and relaxing and give them more free time. So they're much more about how the games make them feel. And then young people are really about competition and socializing and really the head-to-head. So as you think about sort of all the different demographics in the market, there's different aspects to game development and how you want to approach these customers. And then finally, you know, what we really see is that people in the older age of the skill gaming demographic, they want things that are relatable and that they understand how to play them. Like they like play patterns that are repetitive, that they know about. They know bingo, they know solitaire, they know Bejeweled, they know Wheel of Fortune. They want games that are easy for them to understand and start playing, whereas younger people are really focused on innovative, new play patterns and things that they haven't seen before. And I'll give you just one example in our World at Worldwinter. So we launched a game based on Yahtzee about 6 or 8 months ago. And everybody probably in this room at one time or the other has played Yahtzee, but we turned the game completely on its head and asked, how do we make it a skill-based game with a slot theme? And this game has become, you know, one of the most popular games out there because the play pattern is relatable, but we really innovated in how it's used, and it's the most widely diverse product that we have now with every age range playing it, because it really spoke to the innovation that younger gamers wanted and the sense of challenge, but also the familiarity of the play pattern that older gamers really liked. And so getting to sort of that experience that works for each one of the demographics is kind of key. So the other thing about skill gaming, which I would never have believed before, is that skill gamers are actually gamers with a capital G. They play everything. You can see the green bar here compared to the total, whether it's by platform, PC, mobile, console, they're outplaying the total market and hours played across every single segment. And then you look at the dollars spent on the right, they are spending way more than regular gamers across all categories. So they may be playing more casual kinds of content, but they are playing for a lot of hours and they're spending a lot of money, because these are people that are comfortable spending money on games and spending money to compete head to head. So they think about spending more as the entry to get into a tournament as opposed to paying for games, and that's a little different. And then the last point sort of on the same thing, what's really interesting is that our players play at least once a week, and then about a third of our players play multiple times a week. Now, the skill gaming business is a little bit like television, that we are constantly programming events. Any of you that have ever signed up for Worldwinter or Skills or Papaya or whatever are probably constantly receiving notifications that, you know, there's a $10,000 or a $50,000 or whatever kind of event happening over the weekend. We program our customers to participate in events, and we can drive the, you know, daily or weekly behavior, and it really works with this segment of audience that wants to be engaged in the joy of winning. So relative to the kinds of content, you saw earlier in the presentation that, you know, the mobile game category, 50% comes from casual sports and casino. Well, when you look at what people are really playing in the skill gaming area, it's right on. It's card games, bingo games, puzzle games, word games. It's really those kinds of casual experiences that are easy for people to learn and then more difficult to master. But when you ask these players what kinds of game genres are they playing in general, it's all the usual skill game stuff, but then shooters, casinos, sports games. So the main point here is that these gamers are gamers. They're playing everything. And if you are a developer or involved in innovating in new kinds of games, skill gaming is an interesting category, and we'd love to talk about how to bring your games into the skill game arena. And this is truly an eye chart, but the main point here is that these gamers are playing everything. And so while the conventional wisdom is that people play skill games for the money, they play it for the joy of games more than anything else. And they want to play games of a variety of genres, as you can see here. And, we're saying that, our FanDuel product has a golf game with Jordan Spieth, then a football game with Pat McAfee, and NBA game, et cetera, and you will begin to, and we are doing more sports games, but we are also seeing that, the audience can support everything from game shows to more hardcore action games. We've just launched some Atari Breakout. The market will expand because gamers want to play all kinds of games, and it seems logical, but it's really part of the growth trajectory here. And when you talk to users about their motivation, it's really all about, give me great content, show me how to win in a competitive and social environment. Oops. So, a couple last points here about these audiences. They may consider themselves skilled gamers first, but they really consider themselves as people that like to play games. So the barrier, even though these games are casual and they may look sort of simple, there's really a customer requirement around make the game fun, polished, high production values, because they are going to compare these games against other types of freemium mobile games, because it's really a battle not just for their wallet, but for their time. So the barrier to creating great games is exactly the same in skill games as it is in casual games. And also, no surprise, that the kind of person that wants to play skill games is the kind of person that likes gambling. They like the idea of betting on football games. They like the idea of playing slot machines, doing scratch-offs, doing things that are games of chance. These are people where they like the idea of winning. And so when you add the financial component into gaming, it gives them more skin in the game. It makes it more exciting. It's more of an accelerant. And so, when you think casual games plus super wide audience, and then the excitement of winning, that's really the secret sauce here. So just to sum it all up. So this audience is older and more female. They want to win money, but great games are really number one. The play pattern is super important because they need to figure out how to master the game and how to win at it. So learning the game quickly and mastering it is really key. These gamers are playing across platforms, so while mobile and web are the dominant platforms, there is a place in the world for console, web, etc. Skill gamers like gambling and sports betting and other types of adjacent activities. And then lastly, whether the growth is going to come from innovation in new types of game styles or innovation across other types of territories, what's really clear is this is not a homogeneous group of people. And when you look at gender and you look at age and you look at gaming type, it's actually quite different like any other category. And for those of you making games, there's very much a place in skill gaming for high quality, innovative, and new types of games. So That's what I've got. I have 1 minute and 52 seconds, and so if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Spot on.
Yes.
So,
Hi.
does anyone have any questions?
This
Yes.
guy over here does.
Cool. Hi. Thanks for the talk. That was great. Do you know if players have a preferred type of thing that they like to purchase? Are they purchasing turns? Like, what are the thing that they like to buy?
They're purchasing tournaments, because that's all that you can purchase, really.
Okay. So entry fees.
Yeah, so the most popular tournaments are head-to-head tournaments. They run in price from 88 cents to $100, and they can be head-to-head or they can be multiplayer, but the most, popular events are really head-to-head tournaments in sort of the $1 to $5 range.
Perfect. Great. Thanks.
Sure. Anybody else? Yes.
Hi, thanks for the talk. I'm just wondering how much effort you put into ensure matchmaking gives players a really good experience so they'll churn. Like, because it's skill-based, it's easy to say, well, you rank where you rank, but do you make any other concessions to ensure that people have a good time and stay in the game?
Yeah, so we have a proprietary matchmaking system that's been, sort of evolving over the past 20 years. It's based on the World Winner tech, and so we focus quite a lot on making sure that our players have the best possible experience. So there's a new player experience where we're matching people with the same skill level. And as you begin to improve, you begin to move up the skill level so that you are theoretically always matched against people that are sort of in your same skill level. Because that's absolutely central to everything. Because, in skill gaming, you bring people in, they have to set up an account, they have to make a deposit. It's real money. It's not buying an IAP in the App Store. And so it's super important that they have a great experience, and the only way you can do that is make sure that they feel satisfied. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.